So we're continuing our walk through the book of Jeremiah, and we've come to the subject of how we understand prosperity and blessing. Jeremiah is known for some of his famous passages, like when he's at a potter's house and he sees something about the way that God works in lives that's similar to the way the potter works with the wheel. I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Probably the most famous verse in Jeremiah, and Christians love to wrench that verse from its context and paste it over problems to make you feel better. Well, we've been looking at the unvarnished Jerry. What we have in Jeremiah is like a rough sawn piece of wood. It needs some work to become a beautiful part of our lives. So we're going to read the passage from Jeremiah chapter 12, and I'm going to read it to you. You will be in the right, O Lord, when I lay my charges against me, but let me put my case to you. Why does the way of the guilty prosper? Why do all who are treacherous thrive? You plant them, they take root, and they grow, and they bring forth fruit. You are near their mouths, but far from their hearts. But you, O Lord, know me, and you see me, and you test me, and my heart is with you. Pull them out like sheep for the slaughter. Set them apart for the day of slaughter. How long will the land mourn, and the grass of every field wither? For the wickedness of those who live in it, the animals and the birds, the swept away, and because people said he is blind to our ways. If you have raced with foot runners, and they have wearied you, how will you compete with horses? And if in a safe land you fall down, how will you fare in the thickets of the Jordan? For even your kinsfolk and your own family, even they have dealt treacherously with you. They are full cry after you. Do not believe them, though they speak friendly words to you. I have forsaken my house, I have abandoned my heritage, I have given the beloved of my heart into the hands of her enemies. My heritage has become to me like a lion in the forest. She has lifted up her voice against me, and therefore I hate her. Is the hyena greedy for my heritage at my command? Are the birds of prey all around her? Go! Assemble the wild animals, bring them to devour her. Many shepherds have destroyed my vineyard, and they've trampled down my portion, and they've made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness. They have made it a desolation, desolate. It mourns to me. The whole land is made desolate, but no one lays it to heart. The reading, Jeremiah chapter 12, 1 through to 11. I'm going to spend a few moments unpicking Jeremiah's language, and then we're going to reflect on the concept of prayer and prosperity and blessing. And after that, we will reflect together on the kind of God that we believe in, or that we want to believe in. If you're in a place right now where you're able to, you might find it helpful to have Jeremiah 12 on your screen so that you can visualize the text and the language that's in it. Of course, you might be listening to this in the car or on the way to work, so while you're running or something like that, so you can't. So in the first verse, Jeremiah is acknowledged that he doesn't like God's way of behaving. And he's like this. This is my case. This is how I see things. And I know you don't agree. His words are actually stronger than that. And they go like this. I have a case and I know you're going to ignore it. And that's how he feels about God. He feels there's a sense of injustice in the world as he faces God, and God, as he perceives him, is a stronger power. And so he goes on to unpack this case. People we all recognize as evil prosper. What's worse, to Jeremiah, God is the one who lets it happen. To Jeremiah, it's like God is the architect of allowing evil to prosper. He picks that up in these words. You are near to their mouths, but far from their hearts. And that's a theme picked up by Isaiah, chapter 29, and then Jesus, Matthew 15. And that's perhaps the most significant thing we should notice about Jeremiah. The prophets, the psalmist, the people in the Gospels, they expect God to act in the way that they want or that they anticipate. And the reason for that is because the God they believe in them is not the God that they believe in is not the God of the Bible. What we are witnessing is Jeremiah coming to terms with his understanding of God that is wrong. And this is something we all need to do. The cultural images of God from our Christian subculture are influenced by the images of God in our wider culture. And listening to these conversations, this dialogue about who God is and what he's going to do that are in the Bible is really important to help us shape our understanding. And here is a problem for us. Often we bring our understanding of who God or who Jesus is to the scriptures and see what we expect to see there, instead of allowing the scriptures to mold and change our understanding of who God is. So Jeremiah goes on, and about verse 5, he stops putting his complaint, but he starts answering as if the Lord was speaking. So the nature of the language changes. What we've got is a kind of dialogue. And he says, you have raced with foot runners and they've wearied you. How will you compete with horses? And the answer Jeremiah is reaching for is based on the understanding that God is always right. What he's trying to reflect here is that Jeremiah, who so far has been competing with equals, is now accusing God, and he's in a different league. That's what the footman and the horse's language is about. And then God goes on through Jeremiah, verse 7. I have forsaken my house. I have abandoned my heritage. I've given the beloved of my heart into the hands of their enemies. And from verse 7, we have Jeremiah speaking as though God is reflecting on his actions. And the next verses reflect the pain that is in God's heart as the people are about to be exiled and the land taken over. For Jeremiah, God is in control enough to stop his happening, but he is letting it happen. And it's a decision that comes with emotion for Jeremiah and emotion for God. Now, at the heart of this passage is a question. What do you expect to happen when you pray? Now, next on our playlist is a series of clips from the film Evan Almighty. Evan has the power to answer prayers. The clip is about 6 minutes long. Enjoy.